Hey gang, it is time for the video of the day. I am your host, Greg. Welcome. Now, you're probably looking at the background here and saying, Greg, you don't look like you're in your truck. These new diesel engines have what's called a DEF filter. It's a diesel exhaust. And I guess what it does, if I'm wrong and you know, please feel free to comment, correct me. But I guess what it does is it cleans some of the carbon out of the exhaust. And when it gets full, it does what's called a regen, and it burns all the carbon out of the filter, and you go on. Well, eventually, as with any filter, it gets clogged. And when it gets clogged to the point where it can't regen, you got to replace it. Mine pooped out up here in Mason City, Iowa. Now, it's in the garage. They figured out that was what was wrong with it. And it's very difficult because they don't have a steering wheel to set this on. Let's go over here like this. I can turn this light on to get some light. There we go. That's a little bit better, huh? But they got it in the shop, and they are going to replace the filter. It'll be ready to go tomorrow afternoon, so I'm stuck in a hotel, which isn't an altogether bad thing, but it is kind of a pain in the neck. I've been seeing on Facebook all these political posts and all this stuff. I did videos on it, and I'm getting real tired of seeing about gun control, people eating Tide Pods. Now I seen something on there today about this is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. I guess snorting condoms. That's right, folks. Snorting prophylactics. That's what they're doing now. Where do people come up with these ideas? Like I said, I think I said this in one of my other videos. A few years ago, they did the Ice Bucket Challenge. Y'all remember that? Was that what it was called? The Ice Bucket Challenge? And they did it for some kind of charity. I don't remember what the charity was now. But you either did it or you had to donate. And most of the people did it and donated too. I did it because I couldn't afford to donate. But a lot of celebrities were getting into it. And that was kind of cool. All right? Nobody was getting hurt. Eating Tide Pods? Really? Folks, that soap will make you sick if you eat it. Now, some of you older generation might know, wait a minute, when I was a kid and I said a bad word, my parents washed my mouth out with soap and I didn't get sick. Have you ever seen The Christmas Story where the kid's got the soap in his mouth and he's some of the crazy stuff they come up with, oh my God. It's just good. Now, some of you may remember college parties where they ate goldfish, they swallowed goldfish. That was bad enough. But and now they're snorting condoms. I seen a guy commented on the one that I saw, and he said, I hope they're not used condoms. Yeast infection of the nose. Not only am I in a hotel, but now, I'm still trying to get over this being sick. It didn't help last night. It was 21 up here. And I could run the motor, but I didn't know what was wrong with it, so I didn't want to, run it while I was asleep, and then something happened and be in worse off shape than I was. But in any event, I had to comment about the snorting. Heard something out in the parking lot. Oh, what the heck is that? About snorting condoms. What are they going to come up with next? What, drinking fabric softener? Take as many shots of fabric softener as you can before you throw up. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. But today I also had the opportunity to sit in the driver's room at the Freightliner dealer that's repairing my truck And there was a young man there. He was, I don't know, probably his mid 20s, late 30s, or mid 20s, early 30s. And they had TV Land on the TV, and it was Gunsmoke. And I wanted to find something different, so I flipped over to another station, and I found a bunch of the old sitcoms. What's Happening, Webster, if you remember that show, and Give Me a Break. And I was watching those, and I mentioned this. Man, I used to watch all these shows when I was a kid. Welcome Back, Kotter was another one. And he said, yeah, I used to watch those when I was a kid. My grandfather raised me, and he used to watch them. Boy, did that make me feel old. Thanks, man. His grandfather watched these shows. Makes me feel old. I don't want to be a grandpa, not yet. I will one day. I like the thought of being a grandparent. Okay? Because your kids bring the grandkids over and leave them with you. And you take the grandkids to the amusement park and you feed them all of the pop and candy and cotton candy and popcorn that they want. And then you take them on all the fast rides, right? And then when they turn that delightful shade of green, you send them home. There, remember all the trouble you caused me when you were a kid, remember? Here you go. Paybacks. In any event, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Just wanted to say a quick hello and voice out that, this stuff that's going on, I'm just so tired of hearing about it. Gun control means hitting your target. People talking about the Second Amendment, repealing the Second Amendment, and they don't even know what it was there for in the first place. The other thing that I've been hearing a lot about all over the place is people that can't read cursive writing. They don't teach it in schools anymore. Ran into a kid at Walmart, and we mentioned it. My wife and I were there, and we'd mentioned, about cursive writing. And the kid that was there said, yeah, he said, I think I was one of the last classes at my school to learn cursive. They don't teach it anymore. And I've seen the post about, one day, you're going to go into the old folks' home and the nurses are going to be completely flabbergasted because none of these people communicate with each other. Yeah, they do. They send each other notes. It's in code. It's in cursive writing because we can read it and y'all can't. And they're actually teaching kids today that when you sign something, you can actually print your name. No. Signing means you have to write it in cursive. I don't know. I mean, when I sign my name, you can't read it. You can read the G, but you can't read the E on the last letter, on the last name. It's kind of G with a line and a little thing down, and E with a line and a little thing down. That's my name. Usually when I sign for stuff, like if I make a pickup at a customer and I got to sign for it, I'll sign it and then I'll print my name right next to it just so that they know what my name was because they sure as hell ain't going to be able to read it. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna cut this off here, get this put on for you guys because I got good Wi-Fi here. So until next time, I want to remind you again: have your pet spayed or neutered. No, that's Price is Right. Like, comment, share my video. If you can't comment on it on YouTube, comment it on Facebook. And until next time, hopefully I'll be back in my truck. This is your host of the video of the day, Greg the Crazy Trucker, saying, see ya!